Hi there, it's Day 2 with Jerry and Debbie on EWTN Radio. Along with Debbie Georgiani, I am Jerry Usher. The show team is in place. Michael, Jeff, and Rich. And the only one missing, at least temporarily, is you, but we know you're going to want to participate in today's conversation. So, Debbie, I'll let you go ahead and take it away. This is something that a lot of people have been talking about, and that is getting back to traveling.
Exactly. People are saying, I want to go away. I want to get out of the house and go visit somewhere. Well, we want to know where that somewhere is. Where is that place that you want to visit for the first time, or maybe again, you've been there multiple times? Is it over in Europe? Is it, how about Mexico? Mexico is beautiful. How about Canada? Is it somewhere in the United States? Where is that special place that you would like to visit for the first time, or maybe revisit and go and experience it again post-pandemic, right? Let's talk about it. Call up, but you have to share why. It's got to have it. We want to get behind the scenes on this, right? And see what the meaning is by what draws you to the Holy Land, to Italy, to Portugal. Come on. So you share a way with the whole world of what you like about a certain area of the world, and we want to kind of live vicariously through your travels. 833-288-3986.
The deacon in my parish the other day, we had a communion service. Our pastor's day off is Tuesday. So Deacon Jim led a communion service, and he started his homily by telling about just what had to have been an amazing trip to Ireland. They met a monk from Ireland somewhere along the line in their lives, and they have gone back to spend time with him many, many times. They were there for 18 days. And for 10 days, this monk drove them all around Ireland and the beautiful places there. They actually got to renew their wedding vows on the seventh tee of a golf course there. But the reason for that is amazing. they have these rock altars, I think they call them. Because during some of the times of persecution, you Catholics weren't allowed to say Mass. Mm-hmm. So you'd think Catholics would go underground to say Mass that way. But what they decided to do, according to Deacon Jim, is they said Mass out in the open so they could see if any trouble was coming and they could disperse.
Oh, interesting.
So anyway, yeah, he shared his journeys of going to Ireland. I thought that was I'd love to go to Ireland.
Me too. It's so green. I love that. Coming from Arizona, I really need that beautiful plush look of all the green. I understand it they call it mist. It mists during the day, so that there's always a little bit of rain. I understand that, so that's why it's so green.
Yeah, I don't know the details of that, but that would not be surprising at all.
That is awesome. Okay, Ireland, that's on the table. How about you guys? What place do you want to visit? We want to hear from you. Here is the number. Fill up those phone lines. Ready? Go. 833-288-3986 or 833-288-EWTN. I guess all of our listeners could guess where I want to go back to. Take a guess.
I don't know. Greenland?
Iceland. Come on. No. Ireland. No.
Ireland or
Italy.
Italy. Yeah. You fooled yourself.
I was doing all the I's. I was doing because Iceland, Ireland. I was trying to give you a little hint to Italy. Okay, yes, Italy. But really, I really want to go to Sicily. I really want to go there and spend some time there and visit the house that my father-in-law gave away and just wave to it or something like that. I'm still a little bit frustrated about that.
Right.
But I'm sure the tenants are having a grand old time in that beautiful home.
Well, let's hope so. What about you, Take Two family? Is there a place you've been to that you would love to go again, or you've had this maybe on your bucket list or your dream list, your dream things that you dream that you'd love to do at some point in your life? We're having this conversation because, as always, the things you share on this program could actually inspire and motivate somebody else to take the same action that you did, and that is stop talking about it and go do it. Go to that place that you would love to go to perhaps again. 833-288 EWTN or 833-288-3986.
Okay, you mentioned Ireland. I agreed with that. I mentioned Italy. I'm sure you love Italy as well. Where do you want to go visit for the first time or again, Jerry?
Holy Land, definitely.
Oh,
I've been
that
blessed
would
to
be the
go
third
there.
time.
Yeah,
for
it
you,
would be.
right?
Debbie and I went on one trip, one pilgrimage, and yeah, it would be a third time for me. It was funny when the first day I was going there, I was checking my bag at the airport. This lady didn't know me from Adam, and she says, "Where to?" And I said, whatever it was, Tel Aviv or wherever we were flying into. She goes, "Oh, you're going to the Holy Land. You'll love it. You'll go back many times."
Oh,
And I thought, wow, she doesn't even know me or why I'm going this time.
yeah, yeah. I loved
So
the Holy
maybe
Land.
it was, kind of a little prophecy. I have been back once, not many times, but once.
And we need to pray for peace in that region.
Yes.
Let's really pray for peace. Also, too, I heard that there was otherwise it's also known as Burma. There was a church that was bombed by the military because the military coup is taken over there in that area of Burma, and the church was destroyed. Did you see that? So we need to pray for that. And there's only a small amount of Catholic Christians there. It's mostly Buddhist, and so we really need to pray. You should see the pictures of it. I mean, they just totally took this church out.
Yeah, well, it's safe to say Satan's reign of terror is in full swing right now, but we know that it will come to an end. When exactly, we don't know, but let's just be assured that God is not asleep at the wheel. He's not asleep at the switch. He knows what's going on. So pray, pray, pray. Yes, indeed, Debbie, we've got to pray real hard for really so many areas of the world right now, especially even our own country, the United States of America. So where would you like to go, folks? A place that you've been to, a place you've never been to, but you would love to. That's our conversation on today's program. 2 open phone lines are left. Most of them are taken. But if you're quick, you'll get one of those 2 open lines at 833-288-3986.
I've always wanted to go to South Africa. I hear it's absolutely gorgeous. I've always wanted to go to South Africa. And I want to go to England. Have you ever been to England?
I have not, no.
You haven't? We need to go. Pilgrimage. There you go. Okay, folks, so where do you want to visit? And where do you want to visit again? Let's talk about it and share why, the reason behind that why, what drives you or makes you think about that area of the world. 833-288-3986. Please join us.
Tonight on EWTN Live, Dr. Ann Hendershot reveals how a culture of envy inspires people to turn to violence and destruction, and what we can do to stop it on the next EWTN Live.
EWTN Live with me, Father Mitch Packwood, tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern on EWTN TV and radio.
There's times in life when people want to tell you everything's going to be okay. And you know it's just not. You get a medical report or financial disaster or you name it, and it's just not okay. Jesus knew we'd have to deal with all that stuff. And yet he commands us throughout the Gospels not to worry. Why? Because he also knew the final victory he was about to win for us. Listen, for a Christian, peace of mind doesn't come from winning in this life all the time. It comes from knowing you already won forever in Christ. Peace doesn't come from our circumstances being okay. It comes from knowing that our circumstances don't get the final word. Our trials don't come to stay. They all come to pass. Keeping that in mind helps us pass through whatever trials life throws at us as victors, not victims. Jesus said, "I've told you these things so you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world." This is Chris Stefanik from reallifecatholic.com.
Thanks for being with us here today on Take 2 with Jerry and Debbie on EWTN Radio. I want to thank again the show team, Michael Birchfield, our producer, Jeff Burson, who handles social media. Rich Jesse is our call screener. He is the first one you will talk to when you call in to be on the program. And EWTN's religious catalog is like it's like no other religious goods site in a brick and mortar or online. because Debbie and I can vouch for this. We've been to Hansville, the shrine at Hansville, many times, and that gift shop is just loaded with everything you could possibly want. And one of those things I want to tell you about real quickly is a Fontanini crucifix, this lovely wooden crucifix crafted by Fontanini artists in the hills of Tuscany. It's a wonderful addition to any room. I know, Debbie, you're jealous already. You're going to have to buy one. The cross is made of wood and measures 15 inches, and a resin 8-inch corpus is attached. It's imported from Italy, available now at EWTNRC.com. You get free standard shipping for online orders, $75 or more. Just use the code FREE at checkout. That's at EWTNRC.com.
I'm sorry I keep bringing up about my Italian heritage. It's really quite simple. I love Italian food. I do. You know, this is no joke. You know what I had for breakfast this morning? I had leftover Italian pasta. A pasta.
Nothing wrong with that.
But for breakfast, Jerry, normally people have eggs, bacon. I had pasta.
You can just tell yourself it's a different time of the day.
Right. It's 3:00 somewhere.
Right.
Oh, I know, but I really do love it. You like Italian food? You like Italian
I
food?
love Italian food, yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Well, we're talking about places around the world that you would like to visit or go and visit again and again and again. Maybe buy a home there, a second home. Maybe do one of those, what are they, timeshares? Do they still have timeshares after the pandemic? I heard a lot of people got rid of their timeshares.
Yeah, I think they do, yeah.
Really? Cool. So where do you want to go? There's open phone lines. Jump in. You do not have to be Catholic to call in. This is your show. We want to hear from you. 833-288-3986.
Joyce is first in Duluth, Minnesota, listening on Real Presence Radio. Hi, Joyce. You're up first on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Welcome.
Hello, and thanks for taking my call. Now, we aren't going any place that seems to be like a tremendous trip or anything, but for us it's huge. My family has been camping at a Boy Scout camp over in the Brainerd Lakes, Minnesota area. And I grew up in southern Minnesota, and it was a Boy Scout camp run by that council. And we've been doing this my entire life. So when my older brothers were in Scouts, and now the next generation and the grandkids are also joining us. So there will be probably 30 to 40 of us camping at our Boy Scout camp this weekend. So we're looking forward to that.
I'll bet you are. Joyce,
Jerry.
who needs exotic, expensive places, right?
I was just going to say, and Jerry, Joyce has got 40 people attending this camp. They won't even notice if we just slip in and pitch a tent. Right, Joyce?
Well, we'd probably notice, but we'd accept you.
Okay.
Oh, good. Well,
In
yeah.
fact, there's only 12 sites.
Oh, wow.
Sites. So we pretty much take over the whole camp. But it's a very quiet lake.
You've taken me.
Fishing is great. Family is great.
Yeah, you've taken me back to my youth, Joyce, with this call. It's been decades since I did any camping, fishing, any meaningful amounts of any of these things. I am excited that my parish in October is going to go on a deep sea fishing trip out of San Diego, so I'm looking forward to that. But the camping part, just being out there in nature. Sleeping under the stars, cooking your own food on a little campfire, all of these things are great. I wish a trip like that was on everybody's to-do list. Debbie, what do you think?
Oh, I totally agree. Singing campfire songs and s'mores, and I mean, we can go on and on. It's just a blast, and getting into nature, and just being and breathing that fresh air, and seeing all the sights and the sounds. I mean, it's heaven. Joyce, we'll be with you in spirit, and we hope you just have such an incredible time and take a lot of pictures.
Oh, we always do, and my particular family always makes sure we make time for Mass because, of course, that's important, and that's what our parents asked us to do and taught us to do. So there's a beautiful, fairly new church right in Cross Lake that we love to go to.
Nice.
One other thing real quickly, Joyce. Do you divvy up the responsibilities? Everybody have certain days, certain people cook, or does one or two, three people cook the whole week, other people clean, other people do other things? Do you have sort of an organizational chart like that, I guess, for lack of a better way to put it?
We tried that about 20 years ago, and it was such a fiasco trying to get people to come to a meal at the set time. So everybody just cooks whenever they want, and if the food is out on the table, then it's kind of a free-for-all. But Yeah, we always do Sunday night is a fish fry if there's enough fish caught, which we haven't failed yet. And that's people bring things and pitch in, and my husband and a couple of my older brothers fry fish, and then when the fish is done and all the other food is done, then they start experimenting with what can be cooked in hot oil, which is always a humorous experience. So.
Nice. Wow. I got something that could be cooked in hot oil. Would you like an idea?
Oh, of course.
Okay, you take little, it's like bread. It's like dough. You take just the dough and you put it into the hot oil, and then you take it out and put sugar on it, powdered sugar on it, and that's an Italian pastry called zeppole. And it's absolutely delicious. It's basically donuts. It's basically donuts with powdered sugar.
That's what I was thinking. Sounds like a donut. That's a good thing.
Yeah, it's delicious. And you put it in the easiest way to powder sugar is you put it in a brown bag. You put after you fry it, you put it in a brown bag, throw the powdered sugar, and then shake the bag, and it covers the whole entire thing, and it is so yummy. It is great with a cup of coffee, Joyce. Just a suggestion.
Oh, it sounds delicious. We might have to give it a try.
All right, just may you have a blessed, refreshing time and catch way more fish than you need for the closing fish fry.
Well, thank you much. You guys have a great day.
All right, you do the same.
Thanks, Joyce.
Great first call, Debbie, because, we sort of started the show thinking a little more internationally, exotic places, resort types of places. And folks, you're welcome to call in and share that. We're talking today about if there is someplace you've been that we would like to go to again, or maybe you've never been there, and it's on your to-do list of places to go, 833-288-3986.
There are some absolute just exquisite spots that aren't, overly commercial in Mexico. I think Mexico has some of the most you've been to Mexico a few times, right? When you were in the seminary? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's just the water's is clean, and the people are so wonderful, and it's Catholic everywhere, folks. Everywhere. In the taxi cabs, in the hotels, you'll see crucifixes. It's so beautiful. I love Mexico. I'm pretty close to Mexico, too. We don't have to fly too far.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Okay, Zena is next in Farmington Hills, Michigan, listening on Ave Maria Radio. Hello, Zena. You're welcome to Take Two.
Hi, Zena.
Hi. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure, you're welcome. So where would you like to go?
So the place that I really want to go to, I've been to it, the Holy Land, of course. I've been to it 2010. I went with a group of people from my church, and, most of them were, older. So we ended up, me and my cousin, ended up always in the back trying to see everybody get in. And by the time we got in that, whatever, the church or whatever, they had started talking about it, and we were at the end. Yeah. So and it was overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed. Every church I went to, I was very emotional. I think because it was the first time, and I would like to go again, and experience it, probably with a smaller group this time, so we can understand more, enjoy it more, pray more. Because, when you go with a big group, you have, limit time to pray. And, I couldn't even pray because I was overwhelmed. By the time I come down and I wanted to, pray, it's time for us to leave. But it was a very beautiful experience. I've been to many places, to a lot of places. Overseas, but this was really amazing. It was an amazing trip.
Yeah, Zena, Debbie, and I went on a pilgrimage about 5 years ago. I was on one to the Holy Land, I think, in 2011. And you're very, very right. It is just there's so much to take in and to soak in and learn about really the roots of our Christian Catholic faith. And sometimes the Holy Land is called the fifth gospel because it really just speaks so much about the life and times of Jesus. And you're right. You have to You have to be in a group the size of which you can hear the guide or guides and hear what they're saying, because there's not always a handout, to tell you what it is that you're seeing at a particular site. So you're very, very, this is probably why this is one of the places people, Debbie, long to go back to. Maybe that's why. There's so much to take in on 1 or 2 or 3 trips.
I completely agree. And as you were describing it, Zena, I remember going on several pilgrimages, and it seems to always be that same way, where there's that limited time to pray, to really get into that deep meditative state. You really can't do that. It's almost like surface prayers. You can't get beneath that.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I've said that so many times, Zena. You know what I do? I come home and then I take all of the places we visited, and then I circle which ones I want to go back and really dive deeply, right?
Exactly, absolutely. And I love the, like when we had Mass every day, and one of the Masses we did, it was outside, and most of it was like outside, outdoors. But the Amos, the way to Amos, it was the most beautiful scenery. It was like overlooking the whole city, and it was really, I love to do that again.
Beautiful.
Yeah, well, may the Lord grant that wish of your heart. Like I said a couple of moments ago, Zena, when I went to the airport for the first time, the lady who checked my bag said, "You'll go back many times," and I've been back once, so that's not many, so I'm hoping to go back again. So you never know. The Lord could have it in His plans to allow you to go back there again. So we'll pray for that.
I hope so, too. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you, Zena, for calling. 833-288-3986. Chris is in Sterling Heights, Michigan, listening on Ave Maria Radio and on Take 2 with Jerry and Debbie. Hello, Chris. Welcome.
Hi. Good to be on again. One thing that struck me right away when you asked your question at the beginning of the program was 2 spots that I learned about in the 33-day consecration to St. Joseph, written by Father Don Calloway. I think it might have been on my 2nd or 3rd go-around with the consecration. I was fascinated by the story of the House of Loretto, how that house was translocated from Nazareth, to, I think, 4 different locations before it ended up in Loretto, Italy. And there were been scientific studies done on this and measurements of the foundation that just square perfectly with the House of Loretto. And pollen studies of the flowers, of pollen on the walls of the house, only found in Nazareth. The building materials only found in Nazareth. Couldn't have been built in Italy. So fascinated by that location. And there is a chapter in there called Santo Anello, and it's the wedding ring that Joseph gave Mary. And this wedding ring is mentioned by a couple of mystics. And this wedding ring is located in sort of a tabernacle kind of thing, just ornate with silver and gold, as one of the mystics, I forget which one, Catherine Emmerich, I'm not sure which one. But she only generally described what this ring is contained in, and then the people of Italy finally found it. And married couples come from all over the world to touch their wedding bands to this Santo Anello, which is the wedding ring that Joseph gave to Mary. So this town is called Perugia, Italy. And my wife has wanted to go to Venice for years and years, and we're about less than a year to retirement where we can finally start traveling. So on my bucket list, we'll see what the final one looks like. But Perugia and and Loretto.
Well, Chris, I have to tell you, the same thing happened to me when the first time I went through the consecration to St. Joseph, the book that was written by Father Donald Calloway. Same thing. When it spoke about the House of Loretto, I quickly got out our DVD disc, and I said to Marty, we were there because we were there in 2013. And then when I heard about the wedding ring, I was like, oh, we've got to go back. Italy is just a treasure of all sorts of relics and different items. I mean, that's why, folks, I would definitely recommend. It's not because I have Italian heritage. It's because of our Christian faith is to spend that time and to highlight those areas, because there are those commercial areas in other places, and that's great. It's great to do the, all the different, different beautiful sites of Italy from the north all the way down to Sicily. But how about these special sites that have a Christian meaning? What do you think, Jerry?
Well, I do have some thoughts, which I'll share in just a moment here. Chris, stay with us on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie here on EWTN Radio.
Have you heard about Church Pop? Church Pop features new online Christian content that's fun and inspiring every day. Find it on Snapchat, Instagram, and on the web at churchpop.com.
Sometimes we may be asked by those who don't pray on a regular basis, why should we pray, or why do we pray? Well, I pray to get closer to God. And I always think about what my patron saint, St. Teresa of Avila, said. She said prayer is really nothing more than a conversation with a friend. If we think about it that way, it will help us guide our conversations with God, which we should be having as often as possible.
Living the Beatitudes with Father Bjorn.
Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. This strange beatitude reminds us that Jesus is challenging us with his ways to heaven on a new exodus. We're leaving behind the Egypt of this world to find the eternal paradise of heaven. When we tend to think of happiness, we tend to think of it in a self-centered way, a possession of a temporary good or passing fancy. But Jesus is calling us into eternal happiness. And actually, morality is a search for happiness, says Dominican priest Surveys Pink Hairs. We're looking to be happy, and a lot of times we end up at dead-end roads that don't lead us to where we want to go. How can we be blessed when we mourn? In sorrow and difficulty, hardship and cross, we are called closer to Jesus. It's God's fingerprint in our heart reminding us that we're made for eternal happiness. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted.
For more about the Beatitudes, visit EWTNRC.com.
Tomorrow on More to Life, how can I help?
Feeling torn between serving others and taking care of your needs? We'll help you find balance.
That's tomorrow on More to Life. Now back to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Well, we're having a very wonderful discussion about places in the world, or could be right in your own backyard, where you wish you could travel to again, or maybe for the first time. If something has popped into your mind or your heart that you would like to share with us, we have an open phone line. Please do join us at 833-288-3986. That's 833-288-3986. We also have some social media and email activity that we're going to get to here shortly. But Chris is on the line with us in Sterling Heights, Michigan. Chris, thanks for holding on, listening on Ave Maria Radio. And, this is, as we were in the break there, I just kept thinking how many fruits there have been in people's lives who have done the consecration to St. Joseph. I've done it now 3 times. And like you said, Chris, I have learned something new each and every time. And things such as the ones you're talking about, the Holy House of Loretto, which, like you said, was taken up and transported to certain different places over a number of years until it finally got to where it is now in Loretto. And then the Santo Anello, the Holy Ring. It's just, these things are just so beautiful, such beautiful parts of our Catholic faith and tradition. Like you said, that many of them come to us through the mystics like Anne Catherine Emmerich and Venerable Mary of Agreda and people like that. But it's really just fascinating. So Chris, you're saying that a trip to that part of the world is on your and your wife's list once you hit retirement?
That's right. Although Venice is probably number one. That's her, her heart wants to be. But then hopefully we can travel up and hit the other two places. So that would be like the trifecta for me.
Yeah, the trifecta. Well, enjoy that treasure chest of Italy, because all the things you'll be able to find and experience. I mean, and they do most of the times, oftentimes they have them displayed, which is beautiful. But sometimes check the calendar, because they pull stuff back and then they'll display it at certain times of the year. So I wouldn't want you to miss anything, Chris.
Right. I'll make a note of that. Thank you.
Cool. Oh,
You're welcome.
Yeah. Enjoy. Venice is beautiful, and Venice shows up so well in movies. So everybody, yeah, that's true.
Thanks, Chris. Have a blessed day.
You too. Bye
Okay,
now.
thank you. Thanks for calling the program. That line is now freed up if you'd like to get on the program and share a place you'd like to go to again, or maybe for the first time. 833-288-3986. Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on EWTN Radio. You can also email us, take2@EWTN.com, streaming the video on YouTube and Facebook, so you can post your comments there. And that is where we have heard from Patrick, who is watching the video stream on YouTube. Hi, Patrick.
Hi, Patrick.
Patrick says, I want to go to Japan again to see my in-laws and have my son see his great-grandma, who just turned 95.
Oh, I love
Isn't that beautiful?
And I've heard Japan is so beautiful and very clean. You know, I'm very big on cleanliness when it goes. I have to say, Italy, especially in Roma, Rome was not that clean. It was kind of dirty, the streets and stuff, and I didn't do too well with that part. I shouldn't say that. If you're listening in Rome, I love Rome. I'll come back to Rome. But I don't know, maybe sweep up the streets a little. You know me. And have you been to Rome?
I have been to Rome a couple times, yes.
Okay. So then it must have really bothered you, because you're big on picking up trash as you walk along.
For all I remember, I probably was picking up trash all over the place.
At the break, I was sharing with our producer, Michael Birchfield, that Jerry needs to do something spectacular before he turns 60 on July 1st. So you got to live out the rest of your 50s with maybe a trip, Jerry. You still have a whole month to plan a trip and go.
I do. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm not afraid of 60, believe me. I'm one more day closer to heaven.
Oh, that's so sweet. Yeah, and that's a good way to look at it. Marianne is up next in Loveland, Colorado, listening on our friends at Catholic Radio Network. Hi, Marianne. How are you?
I'm good, Jerry and Debbie. How are you?
Doing very well. Thanks for calling.
You're welcome. Well, I had an uncle who was a monk up at St. Benedict's Monastery in beautiful Snowmass, Colorado, for 17 and a half years. And so the family, when the monks are up there, we're allowed to go up for 2 weeks at a time every year. And so we would spend time up there with him, our big Italian family, Debbie. So we would go up there and we would, make spaghetti for them, and they usually don't eat meat, but they would when we came, and, drink the wine and eat the spaghetti. And so I haven't seen my son. He lives in New York for almost 10 years. Wow. And before COVID, I asked him if he would like to come out, because he loved that place. And his great uncle George has a very special place in his heart. And so I asked him, sweetheart, would you like to come out to Colorado and go spend some time up at Snowmass and get to see the brothers again? And he said, oh, Mom, yes. So that's what I would like to do.
Oh, and we want that for you, Marianne. That will be so special. I have to ask you, so what's the closest city, the major city to Snowmass? Where would you fly into Denver?
You could fly into Vail.
Oh, Vail,
Colorado.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. Wow.
And they have what they have up at the monastery. Once they open it up again, they have a retreat house that you can go to. They also have little individual houses. I forgot what they're called now. And
like casitas, like villas or casitas.
I can't think of what they're
That's
called.
okay. Or
No,
bungalows,
they're not
maybe
called that.
bungalows. Mm-hmm.
Well, they're like little retreat houses. So they each have 2 beds, and they have a kitchen, and they have individual bathrooms.
Right.
And so you bring your own food, and they have the bedding, and the kitchens are all stocked with what you need to cook with. Mm-hmm. And there's no cell phones. There are no televisions, and you can spend your time either on your own retreat, resting and relaxing there, or you can also go to down to the monastery and have vespers and lauds with the brothers, and then on Sunday have Mass, go to Mass with the brothers. And it's so beautiful.
So this is really interesting, Marianne, because Jerry and I have been praying about for a couple months now. Once everybody starts traveling again, we have a lot of listeners in your area, in your state of Colorado, that have asked us to do a pilgrimage in Colorado, and we were thinking of things. Do you think this is providential? You think this is a possibility? We could make St. Benedict's Monastery the location?
Yeah, once they open it up again, I don't know when. I have one brother that I keep in touch with constantly because he's the same age that my uncle would have been, and I could ask him when and when they're planning on when and if they're planning on opening it up again. Hermitage, those little houses, they're called hermitages.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what you do is you make a donation when you go and stay. You make a donation, a per day donation. But yeah, it's a lot of people have done what you want to do.
Beautiful.
And it's also beautiful to drive into Denver, and to fly into Denver and drive up to Snowmass. It's a beautiful drive.
Okay, I think we're in, Marianne. You sold us, and the only problem is we probably won't leave.
I know a lot of people don't want to, and when you spend time with the brothers, once you get to know the brothers and you spend time with them, and also, by the way, they are looking for vocations for men who want to be brothers and priests at the monastery. So they have lost brothers and priests. So they are looking for young men who are interested in exploring the possibility of becoming a cloistered brother or priest. And they're Cistercian brothers. So that's like the strictest observance.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, beautiful, Marianne. I'm just painting this visual in my mind because I have driven through parts of Colorado before, usually flown into Denver every time. I've gone one time to Estes Park, one time to Steamboat Springs, and in and around Denver a little bit. You're right about the drive. Anywhere around there, especially when there's snow in the mountains, snow on the sides of the road, not on the road, but on the sides of the road. So, and I'm thinking of there's the mystic monks in Wyoming, too, who have, a beautiful, fairly, I don't know if it's cloistered or not, but Cistercians really do have a pretty radical way of life, but there are people in the world today who are looking for that. Young men who really want that. They maybe don't know where to look. So I'm glad that you mentioned this on the air, so that at least this comes into the attention of families maybe who are listening, or Debbie, even young men who are looking for that vocational destination in their life.
That is true in beautiful Colorado. Marianne, thank you so much. Would you stay in touch with us? Our email is take2@ewtn.com, because we actually got a text as you were speaking, and they said they're in on the pilgrimage. So there's 3 of us, Marianne, and you. That would be 4.
Oh, sure. I'll be glad to, and I'll get in touch. I'll get in touch with Brother Thomas later this week, because I have a prayer request. He knows my cousin. One of my cousins that he knows just called me yesterday, and he has inoperable liver cancer. So I have to call him and ask him if he and the brothers will pray for him. And what's wonderful is that they know him. So, and they're just such wonderful. Once you go and you experience the peace that exists at the monastery, it's just incredible.
Right.
And Jerry will get to go and see the living quarters. We as women aren't allowed.
Okay.
But Jerry will get to go and see the living quarters. And then they have a hermitage up higher in the mountains, where they go on self-directed retreats themselves. And in the wintertime, they can only get there by snowshoe.
Oh, wow. Wow, incredible. Marianne, you've told us so much. We thank you. You are amazing. We'll pray too. We'll add the intentions in our book as well. But keep us posted, and we'll just say bye for now. How's that, Marianne? Because it looks like Colorado wins. It looks like we're going there. So we'll talk to you soon. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, and God bless you.
God bless you too, Marianne.
Thank you, Marianne. That's beautiful. I think we got our pilgrimage set. Okay, we just kind of announced it spontaneously. Now it just kind of evolved. It was Holy Spirit led. I felt that Marianne's call and everything. That was just, we were just talking about this. What was it, like a week ago? You and I had a planning session. We were just talking about that. I have to say real quickly, text messages are flying in, and so far Rome wins. Rome wins. People want to go to Rome, and one comment came in and said, Debbie, so there's a little bit of litter on the streets. It's Rome. Forget it. You're right. Rome is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And you will love the churches. So everybody's voting for Italy.
Well, our dear sister in Christ, Tricia just texted, and she says, you'll have to rent a convertible to drive to Colorado. Yeah, in the summer. I bet that's gorgeous.
It's gorgeous. Well, Marianne says a beautiful ride. Sounds like Trish is in. There's another one that's in. Okay, Trish is in. We got 5 people going so far. Could we make it 6? Okay, so who's up next?
Next is, actually, you want to tell people about...
I do. May I?
About Cresta, Cresta in the afternoon.
Yes, our dear friend Al Cresta. Cresta in the afternoon. Great show. It's this afternoon at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And he has Carlo Broussard. And Carlo will discuss overcoming the obstacles to Catholicism. He is so good. I got to interview him on several pledge drives, and boy, oh boy, did the phones stopped ringing because everybody was listening to Carlo speak. So I had to finally say, Carlo, we got to let you go because we got to try to raise money.
I know that happens a lot.
He was so good. Yeah, overcoming the obstacles to Catholicism. That's his new book, I believe, right? I think it is.
I think so.
Yeah. Beautiful. But that's on Cresta in the afternoon, this afternoon, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Please, folks, tune in.
Okay, we go to Mark next in Plymouth, Michigan, listening also on Ave Maria Radio today. Hi, Mark. Welcome.
Hi, Jerry and Debbie. We found a really great pilgrimage here stateside, just south of Cincinnati in northern Kentucky, the Ark Encounter and the Creation Museum. For those of us who, take the Word of God at face value, to see it presented as true history with a biblical worldview, there is a life-size Noah's Ark replica. It is breathtaking. the grounds are so beautiful. The horticulture, the plants, it's just amazing. Lots of places to sit, pray. And then, of course, the inside, they show how some ways that very likely Noah and his family could have lived and taken care of the animals, and the creation museum that goes right along with it, and how we can interpret our history through the Bible and what we find in the world through science from a faith-filled point of view. It's just so affirming of our faith. Yes, it's Protestant, and there's a couple little places where they talk about the Bible, and it's more of a Protestant point of view, but that's a very minor part of the experience. So much of it is so faithful to the Scriptures, and it's very, very Catholic. It's really wonderful. We're lifetime members. We're going in a few weeks.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's great. So it had that kind of an impression on you. That's wonderful. I'm familiar with it only, Mark, from the TV commercials where the giraffes are walking over, and the little boy giraffe says, "Wow!" and Daddy Giraffe looks at it and faints and falls over. But this does sound fascinating, and it's just a beautiful thing to see with the direction the world is going, and so much anti-Christian, anti-religion sentiment out there. Not just sentiment, but it's being backed by action in so many instances. That these institutions like this can be raised up and still, like you said, preserve and maintain a biblical worldview. And it's I know it's a great place for kids, but you're not a young child. I'm sure you're young, Mark, but it sounds like a place for people of all ages.
Yes, it is. Anyone can benefit, from people with a very simple faith to people who are really into every detail of the biblical worldview towards science. It's amazing. The kids love it. They've got playgrounds there for the kids. They've got food on the spot. One of the biggest kitchen dining rooms in America is there at the Ark. And the displays are breathtaking. They are out of this world. They have people who've done the animal replicas who used to work for Universal Studios, and so much of it looks so real, and it's presented so believably and so consistent with the Scriptures. I can't say enough about it. I wish more Catholics would get behind this. It's a beautiful thing what they're doing.
I totally agree, Mark. We see those same commercials out here in Arizona, and so it sounds like Jerry's seeing those same ones in California. They're they kind of cycle frequently in Arizona, so I can imagine that a lot of people are wanting to go and visit the Ark exhibit. And I just have to say something about the state of Kentucky. My sister-in-law lived in Louisville for many years. It is the most beautiful area of the country, and it's wonderful. And there's so many fun things you can do in the state of Kentucky. So I totally just want to echo what you're saying and share it to everyone that we have such beautiful sites right here in the United States, and so it's wonderful for us to take advantage of that, especially when it has a spiritual aspect to it, Mark, and that's what you're trying to share with all of us. Because if it can enhance our spiritual growth, then it's worth it, right? Like Jerry and I are big supporters of the North American Martyrs Shrine in Orisville, New York, because a lot of folks who live even an hour away from there have never heard of it. And it's right there where the martyrs, shed their blood and died for us so that we can continue on with Christianity. I'm right with you, Mark. Anything spiritual we can do that can help us along the journey, I say we go for it. So that could be our, I made a note of it.
And there's several very faithful Catholic parishes right there in Cincinnati to grab Mass before you go on a Sunday, too.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah. Beautiful.
So would you fly into Cincinnati? I didn't mean to interrupt you. Where would you fly into? In Kentucky or Cincinnati?
Cincinnati Airport.
Okay.
It's very, very close.
Okay, gotcha. Oh, that's easier for me in Arizona.
Drive is from the Detroit area. It's about a 5-hour drive, so it's worth it.
Nice.
Great. Mark, thanks for bringing this to our attention. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of shifted in my mind from being sort of a tourist attraction to being actually a pilgrimage destination. So you've changed my thinking on that, Mark, and I'm sure a lot of other people. Thank you so much, Mark. Have a great day in Plymouth, Michigan. Thanks for joining us on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. We have time for one more?
We do. Cheryl, our friend Cheryl in Lake Havasu, Arizona, watching on YouTube. Hi, Cheryl. We're waving to you on YouTube. How are you, our friend?
Oh, I've been doing wonderfully, beautifully, fantastic. I've even had a couple of blessed miracles from Jesus. After a whole year of after 3 whole years of hard work and studying, I've finally taken my oblation vows. I now belong to the Holy Order of Our Lady Guadalupe Monastery. So I was able to take a pilgrimage out to the monastery, and I stayed the weekend with the sisters out there, Sister Lydia and Sister Linda Campbell. And then we also had the special ceremony where I spoke in my oblation vows. So now I'm the first Holy Roman Catholic oblate to Our Lady of the Lake Catholic Church. It was incredible. The other one I'm going to definitely take is a trip out to France. I'm definitely going to see Lisieux, where St. Therese was raised, as well as the Grotto of the Lords. Be able to go there, where St. Therese was also raised, and be able to hopefully stay with the sisters in Lisieux, in the monastery where she was raised. She's been more of a role model to me than anything in the world. I would just love to be able to take a trip out there.
Absolutely. Well, we're gonna pray that. I put it in the book, Cheryl, because we want you to experience that, and we want to say congratulations to you. Many blessings. You went on a long journey for this wonderful chance in ministry, and now it's your chance to live it out. And I think it is wonderful. Cheryl, God bless you for that. And I love that you brought up Lisieux and Lourdes. Yes to all of it. And Fatima, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, love it. We got, some people go Fatima, Lisieux and Lourdes. They make that whole trip. They do these pilgrimages. Sometimes they try. See, that's the other thing, though. They try to bring in so much that it goes back to what we were saying earlier. That sometimes you can only skim over it. So maybe it's just good just to fly right straight there and really enjoy it. What do you think, Cheryl?
Oh, yes, definitely. Especially when you find out more about St. Therese, how she makes us feel, even though we're little souls, but as little souls, we can all be raised up to heaven and up to Jesus, just to wrap our arms around him. And that's the best pilgrimage of all, to be able to have that feeling and be able to go on out there to experience the little soul of all the good work she's been doing for us here on earth.
Absolutely. Well, Cheryl, you're a dear friend of the program, a member of the Take Two family. You've emailed us so many times. We apologize. We've tried to keep up with the emails that you send, but you're a very, very dear soul, and the things you've shared with us here today show how much you love your faith and how active you are, not just sitting still, going to Mass on Sundays, maybe praying your rosary now and then, but becoming involved with that community that you talked about and having this desire to take the pilgrimage. You are living your faith. You are living it to the fullest. And I joined Debbie in saying, I hope and pray that you get to take that trip to France. So, Cheryl, thank you so much for calling us today.
Oh, I not only go on Sundays, I go every single day to chapel service because I follow the same lifestyle as they do out in Our Lady Guadalupe Monastery, the sisters out there. So I follow their same lifestyle, and I love every bit of it.
Yeah. Who wouldn't? Beautiful. Thank you, Cheryl, very much for your call. Debbie, Abraham just called. He wanted to say that he and his wife are going on a pilgrimage to the National Shrine of the Divine Mercy in Stockbridge, Massachusetts, where we went.
Yeah, we love it. Thank you. You're going to love it. Oh, it looks like The Sound of Music. It's so gorgeous. I even said to our tour guide, I said, this looks like a page out of The Sound of Music. She goes, yeah, we hear that all the time. Great show, Jerry.
Yeah, great week of shows continues tomorrow with our unscripted broadcast. We do that once a month. Debbie and I do not bring a specific topic. You can revisit a past show, suggest future topics. Anything that's going on in your life, your little part of the world that you want to talk about, that's unscripted tomorrow.
So bring your topics, and you can even suggest topics as well for future shows. Until tomorrow, have a beautiful and blessed day. St. Joseph, please pray for us.
EWTN News In Depth is important for Catholics everywhere. There are so many questions, there are so many unknowns out there as the world continues to change at a rapid pace. We're going to ask the tough questions